Hi, Simon McDonald here with the Milford Regional Chamber of Commerce. I am here with another edition of How It's Done. Today, we're going to learn about commercial and residential real estate, appraisals, and all, well, here's what we're going to do, the total deal. So we're here today with Kevin Weersman from Total Realty Services. Hi, Kevin. How are you?
Hey, Simon, how are you today?
I am great.
That's a good thing.
So how did Total Realty Services get started in the first place?
Well, interestingly enough, Total Realty Services in itself was actually the brainchild of my partner, Al Milano.
Okay.
Al and I had worked together and for several years doing a lot of projects together. So there was a real tight connection between us, and it really made a lot of sense to try to jump off into our own thing. So Al, before inviting me to come along, had been sort of considering, what he wanted to see in a real estate business.
Okay.
Or a real estate office, I should say. And so one of his first thoughts was, there's so many companies that are designed around the broker, and the agents are only there to support that broker and their income. What Al sort of came up with, and then we tailored it, was to sort of create an agent's office where not only can we provide really good service and attention to our clients, but we can provide really good service and attention to the agents that are working with us.
Okay.
So that was sort of the impetus, right? And that was, again, that was all created in Al's brain. And then when he approached me and we decided to put our heads together and take it to the next step, that's where Total Realty Services was born.
So how did you get started in real estate? I mean, what made you decide this is what I want to do?
It's interesting. It's sort of happenstance, right?
Okay.
I got into real estate in 1999. I went right into the commercial markets because the real estate guru, my mentor at the time, was solely a commercial broker. So I had been living in Manhattan for about 7 years, and my now wife Stephanie and I were looking for an apartment. And we would make an appointment at 9:30 in the morning, and at 10:15 they'd call and cancel the appointment.
Oh my God.
Because it was already leased. So at that time, this is again mid 1999. There was literally a 0.5% vacancy rate for apartments in the city of Manhattan. It's specifically where we were looking, but generally overall.
Right.
So that kind of put it in my mind that hey, maybe I could do this.
As a commercial real estate broker, which is what you primarily do, correct?
Yeah, my history in the last almost 25 years has been commercial, both retail, investment, light industrial, and some multifamily. So that has been my focus. The residential component has been building for me. Al really takes the lead there.
Gotcha.
He's truly the expert, especially as a residential appraiser.
Okay.
And then our residential team, we've got well over 100 years of collective experience there. We've got some folks, I think, Al having been just over 25 years, and our other agents, I think our 2 or 3 lead residential agents all have 30+ years experience.
Okay.
And it's just fantastic for us because the incredible amount of knowledge, especially Carol Anicelli and John Vigliotti, they have just an incredible amount of history in residential real estate. I mean, I learn something from them every day. So
how has the last 5 years gone for residential and commercial real estate, as far as with that, we had a little pandemic there.
That little pandemic.
It just kind of happened there, yeah. How has the markets changed for both? Let's start with residential.
Sure. When the pandemic started, let's call it, I think it was March 2020, when everything basically shut down.
St. Patrick's Day shut everything down.
So we had the residential market turned off like a light switch,
right.
Because you honestly couldn't do showings, you couldn't go in people's houses, you didn't want to be taking strangers in and out of homes because you put everybody at risk. So that was on hold. The commercial market continued. It didn't actually stumble yet.
Okay.
So we were very fortunate that all but one of our commercial projects continued to fruition and closed in June, July, and August of 2020. Then there was the pause there because obviously the state had shut down, all the restaurants,
Right.
many of the retail facilities, even the light industrial and construction trades were all on hold. But interestingly, there began an exodus, and specifically a boon for Connecticut was the exodus from the boroughs and
Right.
from Manhattan.
There's several living on my street now.
There you go.
Yeah.
So the residential market went back on immediately, didn't have to ramp up, just came back at 110 miles an hour, and we were seeing exorbitant prices at the time coming on for residential homes. There were homes that were not on the market, that were getting a rap on the door, and there was a buyer and an agent offering. There was one particular property in Orange that was not on the market that immediately was offered $80,000 over the appraisal price.
Let's talk a little about how Total Realty Services is giving back to the community. You have a hashtag. What's the hashtag again?
Hashtag Total Community.
Total Community. Okay,
Right.
so what exactly is Total Community, or hashtag Total Community?
Total Community is sort of a concept that came around. My partner Al and I and our IT guy, John Catalino, were sitting around talking about what makes us different, and what are we doing every day that is something that people might really catch on to. And a lot of what we talk about doing is giving back to our small businesses, supporting the local arts. I think that's just really critical.
Understood.
Total Community, in a nutshell, is our way of giving back to small business, the arts, and doing public service.
Okay.
So, for instance, we just, especially coming out of the pandemic, we realized that we're all in this together, and how do we help? So whenever we put in a business, whether we're selling them a property, leasing them a property, helping them expand, we try to run some type of promotion with them. It's just a way that we can give back. I mean, listen, Milford, for us and me specifically, and more specifically the Chamber, which I know we'll talk about in a few minutes, they have the Chamber has given more to me in my career in the last 24 years than any other entity. And so that concept, that's why we're in Milford. Milford has such a fantastic energy. You've got the harbor, you've got the green, you've got such fantastic shorelines, restaurants, and a really vibrant business community. Everybody calls it the small city with a big heart.
Right.
And that's a really, really accurate description. So that's why, when Al and I first started talking about this, he was the first to be adamant that we want to be in Milford.
Right.
And I supported that 100%. And as I said, the city of Milford, and more specifically the Milford Chamber of Commerce, now the Milford Regional Chamber of Commerce, which is exciting.
I would have
stuff.
gotten to that eventually.
Yeah, no, that's one of my favorite changes over the last couple of years. That's really become something that we want to give back to, because it gave to us for years without expecting a single thing in return.
So thank you everybody for watching another edition of How It's Done. It's great to keep your attention for 9 or 10 minutes, and hopefully you've learned something. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell, and then you'll get told when our next exciting segment of How It's Done comes out. And if you leave a comment or want to ask a question, feel free. They're right there underneath. And if you're the first person to do so, I will send you a $25 I Love Local card. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. Bye now.